What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. In this episode, let's talk about the Kangaroos Collingwood game. Let's get into it. Just before we do jump straight into it, of course, jump on my website and the Carlton Drafts website to grab some Swoop Luke merch. My Collingwood Swoop Luke hats come out next Friday. So I can't wait to get those. There have been a bunch of pre-orders for them. I'll send them out. But until then, grab some tees, grab some stickers, grab some mugs while they last. And, I just love all your support and always will. And thank you again. But let's get into this game. So, Saturday afternoon, Collingwood took on the Kangaroos at the MCG. Perfect weather for football. And what a game we had. It was crazy. I felt like Collingwood came out and thought, here's a 150-point win. Kangaroos came out after all this civil unrest. The CEO, people wanting the CEO to leave, people wanting the president to leave. Tom Brown saying that David Noble, unless they come up with a win against Collingwood, will lose his job in the next couple of days. Everything was stacked against the Kangaroos, and everything looked like a 200-point win for Collingwood. But if you are a Collingwood supporter, you knew as soon as the final siren blew last week that this Kangaroos game was going to be anything but easy. It's just in Collingwood's DNA to lose these games, or just to play really poorly in these games. And it's in everyone else's DNA that when their backs are against the wall, they always seem to come up against a Collingwood side that should win, and they play like it's their grand final. And that's exactly what we got from the Kangaroos. Our boys looked shell-shocked at the start. Kangaroos piled on a couple of goals. We hit the front towards the end of that first quarter. And then it was just all the Kangaroos for the rest of the game up until that last quarter. They were smashing us in centre clearances, marks inside 50, contested possessions, uncontested possessions. They were playing like Collingwood had been playing for the last 6 games. It's crazy because the Kangaroos just had come off a 112-point loss to Geelong. So you think, okay, they're going to show a little bit of fight, but are they going to show this much fight? And we were staring down the barrel of a really, really embarrassing defeat. And I can sit here and talk to you about every single umpiring decision that happened that was really, really, really bad. It was probably one of the single worst umpiring performances that I have seen in a football match for a long time. But it wasn't even just that. You can blame the umpires all you want, but it wasn't just that. Collingwood, and I tweeted about it, I said it on my Instagram, people have been saying it, were pathetic, they were shambolic, they were a shadow of themselves that they have been for the last 6 weeks. This, up until three-quarter time, it was a culmination of these close wins. I think this was our 6th or 7th win under 11 points. So you can see that a loss was probably coming, and we would have fully deserved that loss. You couldn't blame anyone but ourselves. Yes, you can blame the umpires here and there, but it was just a shambolic, pathetic showing up until three-quarter time, because that wasn't the Collingwood that we've come to know and love this year. They weren't taking the game on. They weren't doing that exciting football. Even Craig McRae came out in his presser and said that, this wasn't us. Those first 3 quarters wasn't us. But in steps the fourth quarter, and we were 20 points down going into that. What were we? 6, 7, 25 points down. No, 26 points down going into that last quarter. So the game, it looked lost, right? But then that last quarter was everything that Jared Wade, the fitness coach, has been instilling into these guys, kilometres into the legs, and everything about Craig McRae's coaching philosophy come to fruition in that last quarter. That never say die spirit. Doesn't matter if we're 60 points down or 60 points up, we will keep fighting. We showed so much fight in that last quarter where we weren't winning centre clearances for the whole game. We doubled we weren't winning clearances pretty much for the whole game. We then doubled the clearance work in that last quarter. I think we ended up winning it 12-6 or something like that. We're taking marks in our forward 50. We kicked 3 goals from clearances to the Kangaroos, nothing. We made the Kangaroos look like the team that they have been for all season, in that last quarter. Does it suck that we waited until the last quarter to come out and say, hang on a second, we can win this, we will win this, and here's 5 goals? Yeah, it does. It ultimately does suck that we had to wait this long to see the Collingwood that we love this year. But on the flip side of that, we saw the Collingwood that we love this year. We saw that they're never going to give up no matter what. You know, no real team has the right, 5 or so goals down going into the last quarter when you haven't really had the ball at all. The last time we hit the lead was in that first quarter. We had no right to win this game. We pulled so many bunnies out of a magician's hat. It was just crazy. We were working in tandem. Our big men were standing up. You got Nicholas freaking Dacos kicking that amazing Dacos-like goal in the pocket of the G after a handball from Josh. It was just, it was just crazy to think that quarter we could have been doing that all game. But, we weren't. We still won the game. Take those 4 points. But don't forget that it was a bad 3-quarter showing. We should not have let the Kangaroos do what they did to us. And any other team, look, like Geelong, like a Brisbane, like a Melbourne, they'd put the Roos to the sword, they'd win by 80 points. This just shows us that we are very far off the great teams in this competition, but it shows us that last quarter where, wait a second, we can win these games when our backs are against the wall. We have that capacity now to do that. So we saw 2 sides of Collingwood. One where there's a lot of improvement left to go. Making finals is one thing, but, there's a lot of improvement left to go. And then that last quarter is like, this is what we're striving for. Let's do that for 4 quarters. Craig McRae did say that we're always learning, we're continuously learning. And that's what I love about him. This is we just got to keep learning. And we will learn. Should we have lost that game? Sure. The Kangaroos, don't take any away from the Kangaroos. Besides that last quarter, they played amazingly for a team that sent them to Tassie, their coach is leaving, the CEO, blah, 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 blah. All this infighting, they played amazingly, and credit to the Kangaroos. But for Collingwood, there seems to still be a long way to go, and that's fine. We were 17th last year. This is fine. This is going to happen. And like I said, we probably deserved to lose this game, but 7 wins in a row is magical. It's only us and Geelong that have done that at the moment. And then we go over to Adelaide next week to take on the Crows. Sometimes losing is great because there's lessons in losing. If you keep scraping wins, you don't really learn. But what I like about this Kangaroos game is for those 3 quarters, we lost. We lost the game. There are so many things to learn from those 3 quarters. And take away that last quarter, that's great. We know the Pies can do that. But from those 3 quarters, we are going to have such a learning curve. And, losing is good in that sense. But if you can lose those 3 quarters, win in the last and win the game, you have 3 quarters to improve on they go back and they check the footage and they see what they've done wrong and stuff like that. Couple standouts for me, the senior players really stood up. I think Jamie Elliott did really well when he was pinch hitting midfield and in the forward line. Taylor Adams stood up when we need to him. Unfortunately concussed. Won't play next week against Adelaide. Step up Finn McRae. Josh Carmichael did okay in his debut. He had that one really great kick into the forward line to set up a goal. Scott Pendlebury, Jack Crisp, Nick Dacos, what can you say? And Josh Dacos played another great game as well. So all our senior players that didn't really step up last week, definitely stepped up this week. There is a lot to love about this Collingwood side. And there is a lot to hate and improve on. Those first 3 quarters were some of it, especially quarters 2 and 3. But it is a special ride, and if we had lost, I would have taken it on the chin a little bit. Yes, I'm boring, but look, we didn't lose, and it's 7 in a row. Like I said, it's magical. It is amazing. 7 wins in a row. That's just far out. What a team. And they've been against good sides as well. We should have beaten Kangaroos by 100 points, but we knew we weren't going to. And we scraped out a win. It just shows our fight. I love the fight that Craig McRae and the coaches have instilled in this Collingwood side. Just quickly before I wrap this up, Jack Ginnivan just gets treated like absolute crap every single time. Off the ball, I was seeing it. These umpires don't know what the hell is going on. Joel Selwood has been doing it for freaking, over a decade, right? And yes, okay, we call it, blah, blah, we grab Joel Selwood, but he always gets the free kicks. Jack Ginnivan is just getting manhandled. There's no rule against what he's doing. And all he's doing is just going low to the ground. He's a small player. He's low to the ground anyway. And that's just what Jack Ginnivan does. That's just what all small forwards do, but it's highlighted now. If you get hit high, you get hit high. It's not, you don't leave that up to interpretation. You hit it you get ripped around the neck, it's too high. How these umpires aren't seeing it just freaking blows my goddamn mind. And I know it's frustrating for you guys. It's frustrating. I'm putting out fires on Twitter all day. It's just crazy. And the supporters that are saying that he's cheating, is so ironic. Carlton and Essendon. Give me a freaking break. But I just need to get that off my chest. Anyway, 7 wins in a row. This has been my review of the game. I'd love to know your thoughts down below. But until then, buy my merch. Please just support the channel. And I love you very much. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.